Hi everyone, it is World Carnivore Month, and today I'm going to do a little bit of meal prepping so that I have some food for the week. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas that have helped me to lose over 130 pounds. I hope you check out my website, some of my other videos, and if you are new here, welcome. I welcome you to follow me on this journey as I get to my goal weight. For those of you returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you like today's video. Okay, so this is my first cooking video since at least a week or so before Christmas. There's some new lights, there's a new camera. I'm nervous for some reason. We're feeling a little lost, both me and my crew of one. I know a lot of you are always asking about the crew. They're shy. There's one. So what are we going to do today? Today it is going to be about making some meat and a new type of mayonnaise. It's not really a new type of mayonnaise. It's kind of an experimental mayonnaise where I'm going to be making it with both bacon fat and butter to see how that goes. It's fully carnivore. Carnivore-ish compliant, but you know, depending on how strict you are, you can make it 100%. So we'll go into that when we get to the mayonnaise. I'm going to be making a very high-fat, boneless beef recipe. Boneless beef rib recipe, and you can see there what it looks like. So I'm going to start with the meat first because it's going in the crock pot. So I will be moving a lot of this stuff aside. Okay, so here is the meat that I'm going to make. These are, in my area, they are called beef finger meat. It's called beef finger meat, and it's long strips. I'll show it to you when I take it out of the package. It costs about $10 a pound, depending on where you get it. The price has gone up astronomically over the last year or so. Here's a tip for you to save money on it, because this one was a little cheaper than what it's been selling for at some of the regular grocery stores. The regular grocery stores, you can usually find it in the fresh meat department. I found this at the Asian grocery store in the frozen section, and it was a few dollars less per pound than the stuff in the fresh meat, and I don't think it was because it was frozen. One thing I noticed when I looked at the package was there was way more fat on this piece than what they were selling over in the fresh meat department. So I think that's why it was cheaper. That's my theory. For those of us who are doing high-fat carnivore, we are okay with this. So I'm going to take it out of the package so you can see what the pieces of meat look like, and then I'm going to tell you how I'm cooking it.
I'm waiting for paper towels. If only I could juggle. Then we could do the eggs.
Okay, here we are. We are back with the meat. I've kind of dried it off with a paper towel. I am really excited about having this for dinner tonight. Look at this. I do not bother trying to take this off because it is going to be cooking all day. We want all this stuff on there. I mean, if you're really fussy, you can take that off. But if you do as I do here, it is going to be melt in your mouth no matter what. So, and all of that, all the sinews and the, the whatever I don't even know what they're all called, but this is all adding collagen into the dish. So at the end of it all, we are going to have some delicious fatty meat, but we're also going to have this. And this I drained off from my brisket that I made over the weekend. And what you have here is, this is all beef jello, and this is fat. So when I'm ready to use this, which could be in a stew, or maybe I'll make some hamburger soup this week, After I take off the fat and save that for just regular cooking, this is what I would put into my hamburger soup. My hamburger soup is really super simple. One of my favorite carnivore recipes that I'll link below so that you can see what that looks like. I mean, it is deceptively simple but delicious. So I'm going to move that aside and cut these up into bite-sized cubes. I will add some salt, but I'll add it after I put it in here. So first, we are going to cut. I cut them like maybe just a little bit bigger than bite-sized because they will shrink down a bit when they're cooking.
Or maybe I just have a big mouth, I don't know.
Literally dumping them in there. Now, if you don't have a slow cooker and maybe you have an Instant Pot instead, you can definitely use the Instant Pot. Most Instant Pots have a slow cook setting on them. Or you can just use the meat setting and pressure cook this. This will still be nice and soft. And oh, look at this. This is like the best. This will last me a few days. Teddy's hoping that he'll get to share. Oh, Pippi's coming too. She senses it. I would rather pay less for more fat than buy the lean stuff they sell for more money. It's going to be so delicious. Let's get that out of the way. So let's talk about this just for a moment. I am going to add some salt. I'm not going to add any liquid. None is needed. In about 6 to 8 hours, I'm going to cook it on low. In about 6 to 8 hours, this is going to be meat filled almost to the top with liquid, and that liquid will be fat and beef juice. And I will do exactly the same as I did with my brisket. I will pour it into a jar and let it sit in the fridge so that I have the jello and the fat. And then the meat, of course, will be in a separate dish. So that is how simple it is. Now, I'm trying to do fairly strict carnivore this month, meaning just, ruminants mostly, salt. So I'm just going to put some Redmonds salt. If you have some favorite ingredients, maybe your Ketogenic, add whatever you would normally add to, say, a beef stew, and that will work. But honestly, you don't need to add liquid, but you could do that as well if you want. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of Redmonds real salt, and the lid goes on. And that's how easy it is. We will, obviously show you this at the end of the video. And I have the macros and everything worked out for that already. So I'll share that then when it's ready. So I'm just going to tidy up here a bit and come back. We're going to make the bacon butter mayonnaise. So before we start on the butter bacon mayo, I want to talk about who is sponsoring today's video. It is being sponsored by Element. What is Element? It is a super tasty electrolyte drink that has everything you need without all the things you don't need. It contains a science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I love that I can take one of these every day and I don't have to worry about balancing my electrolytes and waking up with leg cramps. This has really solved that for me. Element does have some amazing, tasty, salty flavors. Now, this month is World Carnivore Month, and I'm doing a stricter carnivore, so I'm going to be using the raw unflavored. My favorite way to do it is I put one of these in a cup of boiling hot water with 2 tablespoons butter. Then I mix it up with my little Aero latte, and it kind of makes this whipped, frothy butter drink. That's really good. Now, make sure you use unsalted butter, by the way, because these are salty. So right now, Element is offering all of my viewers the 8-pack, the sample pack, It is free with any purchase from their website. You get all 8 flavors to try. You can share it with a friend, or you can use it to sample all the flavors yourself to see if you have any new favorites. So to get this, go to drinkelement.com/ketogenic woman. That's DRINKLMNT.com/ketogenic woman. That link is going to be on the screen, and it's also going to be down below in the video notes so that you can, conveniently click on it and check out their website. Thank you, Element, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so today I am doing another try at the butter mayo, except with a twist. There's always a twist. Today I'm going to make it with half butter, half saved bacon fat. Here's what's happening in the world. Where I live, my favorite butters are running for about $9 a pound. And that's the Costco price, because I like their organic butter. If you want grass-fed butter, you're going to pay even more than that here in Western Canada. Sure, I can pay $6.99 or something like that for the regular, normal grocery butters. But since I'm eating a lot of butter just straight up, you just can't beat the taste of the Costco butter. So that's what I have been getting. Like, it's the Kirkland organic. Yeah, it's so expensive. Anyways, but that brings me to why we're trying this with half bacon and half butter. So I am going to make half a recipe. Because this is an experiment, we are going to have 2 egg yolks in this recipe. Oh, there's my little dish. So I'm going to put those in here. You can save the whites for, something else, baking or whatever, or mix with your scrambled eggs. I already broke this one, but it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you got a little egg white in there either. This is not like some of the other picky recipes. So we have our 2 yolks. Get this out of the way. The other thing that is going to go in here is some mustard and some lemon juice, which I have to grab from the fridge. But first I will melt my bacon fat and my butter together. Now, I need to grab a spatula. All right, so let's get this going. Doing a 1/4 cup of bacon grease, and I just save these. I just pour it off if I've been making bacon. You can pour it into your bacon keeper, which I have, and as well, when I have overflow, I can save some in these little jars. I always seem to have a lot of this stuff, and it is a lot cheaper than butter. And I've got some butter here. Hopefully it's soft enough that I can just measure this. Okay, so we have a 1/2 cup total of fat, basically. I'm going to go and put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. You could, do it in hot water as well, but it'll take you a lot longer. So my preference is to have it melted, but not overly hot. Just want it kind of warm, unless you're trying to pasteurize your eggs by mixing, making your fat hot enough to pasteurize the eggs, which I think is about 160. But you should look it up if that's important to you. So I want to talk about these next 2 ingredients. Oh, there it is. The mustard and lemon. They are optional. Yes, this is a plant. I already know. It is optional. Mustard is optional. I do find that it makes a more mayo-like texture and flavor. If you have some kind of autoimmune issues or health issues where these will affect that, or if you just feel like you cannot call yourself a carnivore if you use these, then don't use them, just leave them out. I'm choosing to put them in. So there. I'm going to just squeeze a bit of this lemon out. I want 1 teaspoon approximately. A little bit more or less either way is probably not going to be an issue. It's just approximate. And same with the mustard. You could use Dijon or some other mustard. And now we're going to whip it. I do like these whisk type attachments for this, but I have made this same mayo with the regular beaters that come with this, and it works just fine either way. You can also use a, you know, the stick blender, which I've used before. I find this a little bit easier. So first I'm going to whip the yolks up until they're nice and frothy, and I need my salt back.
Where did it go?
You want to whip the yolks until they're nice and frothy. I'm going to add my 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I am going to slowly add this melted fat in here. So this part will take a while. Brown bits in there. All right. So before we finish, I want to show you the texture because there's one more thing I'm going to do. So here's what it looks like right now before I do the final step. And you would think that this is the perfect mayo texture. Unfortunately, after you put this in the fridge, it will be hard as a rock. So, and that is true whether I've made butter mayo or bacon mayo. Both of them do the same thing. They harden up in the fridge. So you don't actually want it to be like that. And what I used to do to get around it is add a tablespoon of either avocado oil or MCT oil, some kind of, you know, oil that doesn't harden in the fridge. But somebody in my Facebook group told me that it also works with water. So I am going to add, this is warm water, I'm going to add a tablespoon of water after I get this whipping again. We're just going to go slow, like we just did with this going. This water is warm water. So with adding the 2 tablespoons of warm water, it's a little more like a thick salad dressing. I could probably even add maybe a little bit more, but I'm going to try it with the 2 tablespoons. After this sits in the fridge, then it won't be hard as a rock like normal butter or normal bacon fat would be. So let's see, I'm sure it's worked because I've done it before, and I think I even did it on my last video, the last time I made butter mayo, I think. But this is going to go in the fridge now, and we are going to let this cook. And when we come back, I'm going to give you macros for all of this, and we're going to do a taste test, and yeah, so we'll see how this all turned out. So we'll see you guys in the next segment, which will be in a few hours. Okay, I'm back. It's late in the day, getting close to dinner time. I have dinner early. It's close to my dinner time, but it's been about 6 hours since we've done everything. Let's deal with the mayonnaise. I did have some for lunch. It's really delicious. I think I like the half bacon, half butter because the all bacon is a little smoky, I think, and you know, this really works. So what I'm gonna do is this has been in the fridge for about 6 hours, so I'm taking it out. Now, it's harder than it was the last time I made it when you're taking it out. However, what I'll show you is that it is quite spreadable. This is probably the best way to show how it spreads. I'll just grab a knife here. Let me just grab some out of here. So the
Sorry.
The other, like when I've made it without adding that water at the end, I would not be able to do what I'm about to do. So let's hopefully get that on camera. See, it spreads really nicely. It's really good, Teddy. So even though it sort of comes out in chunks, it's very spreadable. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I only like to make a half a recipe. Otherwise, for me, it lasts too long. If you know, for some people, they could use this up within 10 days, I'm guessing, would be the max that I would hang on to this. So if you want to make the full recipe, then that's fine, you could. This would taste amazing on steak, I think, or on a ground beef patty. So there you go. Saving money here with using the free bacon grease. I'll list the actual ingredients below, how I did it, because it is different from some of my past videos. So look for that. Now let's check out the meat. Okay, so this has been about 6 hours. I actually do prefer 8 hours because it will still be probably a little bit on the chewy side, which is okay. I don't mind the meat to be a little bit chewy, but if you want it to be more melt in your mouth, then I go for 8 hours. Put a little bit on here. The broth in here, like I said before, I will drain it off and you know, put it in a jar in the fridge overnight. All right, I'm going to That is so good. It's almost there. I might not even have to leave it in for any longer. Okay, both the dogs are staring at me now. I'm gonna give them a little piece. And then we'll get to the macros. Let's just do this first, and then we'll do the macros. Are you guys ready? Okay. Oh, how can I tell you what to do if you're already sitting? Lay down. Oh, right in unison too. Good dogs. Good dogs. Okay, macros. The macros for the mayonnaise is pretty close to like regular mayonnaise. 1 tablespoon, and you should get about 10 tablespoons out of this. Is 102 calories, 11.1 grams of fat, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0.2 carbs. So that's that. The meat is well, I did the macros for 3 ounces cooked because I don't know how much somebody is going to eat. It could vary, you know, from time to time, but you can base it on that. It is 258 calories. Protein is 19.5. Fat is 20. Carbs are 0. And you get a 70-30 70% fat, 30% protein ratio on this. So if I was having this for dinner, I would be adding some butter or some of that fatty broth that's in there. So we'll have those macros below. So this is, yeah, we made it through our first video of the year. I hope that everything goes okay with all of the technical stuff and that we don't see any weird colors or sounds or anything like that, but you just never know, right? So we will see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.